Hey guys, just before we get you to this live, Confessions is out on Amazon. To order your copy, head to shaw.b/confessions book, and let's get you to this live. What's up, everyone?
Hi.
Welcome to 2021, our first podcast back. We are minus a Danielle, who is unwell. I just realized that rhymes. So, Danielle, hope you get better soon. It's actually been a while since I had Chloe and Danielle on, so I still haven't had that. We haven't had Chloe on for a month. Missed having you on, Chloe.
Oh, I missed being here too. It's been a hectic
And
week.
us. Yeah, for both of you, it was a pretty manic end
Yeah.
to 2020. Our special guest for today, coming from her floor, is Evelyn Harrington, who is Miss Universe Galway. And my first question to you is, are you Galway girl?
I am the official Galway girl. Would you believe?
So that song was written about you.
Me and Ed go way back.
Rachel Lee Loftus has said, hello, everyone. Hello, Rachel. So, guys, I hope Danielle gets better soon. What I wanted to do this week really is just talk about our 2020 and reflect on 2020. And I guess given the announcement that literally happened 20 minutes ago that Britain is basically a prison right now for yourselves, I think it'd be nice to just
I
reflect on
missed it.
2020,
What
the year.
happened?
Oh,
Wait, what happened?
Okay.
I know Boris Johnson had something to say, but I was getting ready for the podcast, so I didn't actually hear what he had to
You
say.
guys are, I just had a quick look. You guys are basically back into complete lockdown. So you can't leave your house for anything except essential. It's that whole work from home if you can thing, that imitation you do of him. It's happened again.
What? Sorry, my computer's getting up these crazy adverts again. Like, remember when I was saying the last time when I was on? Sorry.
People wanted to buy things. Buy.
It's like banana. I don't know.
Oh dear, we've missed having Chloe on and her nonsense. I don't know what you're talking about anymore, Chloe. But basically, UK, as I understand it, is back into complete lockdown. And again, it's work from home if you can. Chloe, are you okay?
No, my computer keeps having these pop-ups. I'm genuinely concerned that it may have a virus. The last few times I was on the podcast, yeah.
It wouldn't be doing random pop-ups unless you had a virus on it. So,
yeah.
Are you okay? Can you close the pop-ups?
Yeah, but it keeps pinging in my ear, so I can't hear you speak because every time I close one pop-up, it pings and another pop-up comes up. And then a video came on my YouTube randomly there now as well. Like the pop-up, I tried to close it, but it opened a video and
Okay, so if anyone would like to sponsor Chloe for a new laptop,
can you hear me?
If you get pinged, Chloe, just deal with it. Let's go into 2020 and what, because people talk about New Year's resolutions. I've been seeing a lot of people put up, almost ironically, 2020 New Year's a year ago, and people had all these goals for what they were going to achieve, and then 2020 happened. So why don't we go to Evelyn first, our Galway girl. Evelyn, why don't you sum up your 2020 for us, and then if you want to, you can give it like a score out of 10 or something like that.
Oh God!
Run us through your 2020.
I'm not gonna lie, I actually really there was bad parts, but I actually really enjoyed personally my 2020. It literally gave me so much time to like reflect on myself, and I literally say it all the time that if I didn't have 2020 to start the way that it did, I would have never entered Miss Universe Ireland, because it gave me the time to work myself up, to work my courage, to work on myself personally, that I felt I was strong enough to actually, I was like, life is too short, just go for it. That's literally how I felt. I was like, this is literally a proven fact that life is too short. But no, yeah, basically a lot of it was just working on myself, getting myself together, planning what I want for the future, not necessarily for 2020 itself. Yeah, a lot of ups and downs, ins and outs, upside downs, backwards, forwards. Literally, it was like a roller coaster. It was a mess, but a good mess.
What was your highlight for 2020?
Miss Universe Ireland, of course. Really, it was. I swear, it was such an adventure.
So much fun.
How did you find it? I mean, I'm sure you enjoyed it, but it also looked pretty hectic. A lot of stuff you guys had to do. Pretty exhausting.
We had so much, like, even Chloe, you know yourself, we had so many tasks. Like, people didn't actually realize how much we had to do because a lot of it was behind the scenes. So, like, we had so much. Like, I was waking up in the mornings, the first thing I was doing was checking my emails in a panic to see if I had any task or anything coming my way. Literally, I swear. And it actually made me a little stressed, but that's only because we just wanted to do the best, and we were all trying to do the best. So that was the stress, is that you wanted to do the best for yourself. You know what I mean? So, but if we didn't stress and we didn't put in the effort, we all would not be or have achieved what we achieved. So grateful for my stress. Not really.
Yeah, it's weird. You kind of miss that stress in a way. I actually shared a meme in the chat the other day. Do you ever see that? Yeah, do you ever see?
I don't know that I do.
Yeah, did you ever see that meme of Will Smith and he's standing in a big empty room? It's from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I shared that in the chat. Of Will Smith.
Yeah, what's it say?
Oh, it's just him in an empty room.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's how we felt after the competition, because we're so used to all these tasks.
Literally, it is. I literally woke up the next day after everything had finished, and I was like, "Wait a second.
Oh, okay.
What is this?"
You have pageant hangover, is what you have.
Yeah, that's such a good way. Yeah.
Because you did all this work, all this non-stop work, exhaustion, staying up to 5 a.m., hanging up on Adrian in a temper tantrum.
I was going to say, can you relate the story? Because when I say I can't handle the stress, I'm not just saying, it was kind of stressful for me. Do you want to tell, Chloe, do you want to tell Evelyn what you did to me that one night? I think it was when you were filming you were trying to film the unfiltered videos. Do you want to tell that story?
I actually think Evelyn has a similar story, because when you were filming your last video,
on me.
No, she didn't. But Evelyn did stay up to 5 a.m. making one of her videos. And that's what happened to me on the unfiltered night. I was not happy with any of my videos, was re-recording. I still wasn't happy with what I sent in, because we all want to strive to do our best. And at one point, Adrian was on the phone and I was like, well, I can't do it. And he's like, well, just send in what you have. What you have's enough. And I hung up on him. I would never usually do that. And it was 5 a.m. and I wasn't thinking properly. And I couldn't even remember the next day. He actually had to physically remind me and say, Chloe, do you remember hanging up on me last night? And I was like, did I? I hung up. And
that's literally the thing. You become a bit like delusional because you're so
like
tired.
Bridezilla. It's almost like a pageant is your wedding and you become Bridezilla trying to
Before you jumped on, Chloe, Evelyn and I were just talking about getting. I'm not talking about getting married. That sounds wrong.
I'm telling my boyfriend.
What were we talking about, Evelyn? I can't remember. How did the subject of weddings even come up?
I said that I was organizing a photo shoot for a wedding. And you had said that something like, "Oh, you're getting married," and I just go, "No, thank God."
That's right. And then I kind of felt bad for your boyfriend. It's like, "Oh no, I'm not getting married. Thank God." I mean, to be clear, I don't think you need to get married to prove that you love someone. Those two are very different concepts, especially.
No, that's so true.
Yeah, I mean, what? Sorry, I was just about to go off in a rant.
So Chloe has a lot to say because she hasn't been on a month, and she's trying to get a month's worth, four podcasts worth into the next 4 minutes. All right. So Evelyn and I will just be quiet, and Chloe, you may rant now.
No, I was just going to say about weddings, like couples spend years saving for their weddings for
Yeah.
like their fifth cousins to be sitting in the corner complaining about their food. After you spending like 6 years to pay for that food. No, I
It's
will
so
never get
true.
married. Yeah.
It's so weird. Why is marriage coming up into so many conversations lately? I was hanging out with my best friend today, and the same situation. We spoke about the expenses of weddings. So we were like, I had said something like, oh, if I was to be engaged now, I would definitely give it like 2-3 years before I actually had the wedding to work money up and things like that. And then I was like, why does it have to be such an expensive and big thing?
No.
You can do it so cheaply without having to go crazy.
Well, I mean, you guys tell me. I mean, there are literally girls who their whole life have been planning for their big day.
That's so true.
You know,
I mean,
that's their choice. That's
Chloe's-
up to them. But just for myself, let's say a wedding was $10,000-$20,000, which is pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
I just think you could take that amount of money, and what else could you do with it? So, for example, you could go and have a round the world trip maybe for a month, just the two of you, or you could
Just
put
you
a
and me,
deposit
Chloe.
down on a house or something like that. So, for me to spend 10 or 20,000 on one day, which I don't even know if I'd enjoy. I mean, hopefully I'd enjoy it, but it'd be so stressful. Because I mean, you know, when you have a really, really large event and it's about you and you just spend the whole day, and I've had friends who get married and they said they don't remember the day because, like, one of my friends got married a ways back and it was an Asian wedding. He had like 700 people there because in his culture, like, you had to invite literally relatives, but friends are relatives and the relatives of friends are relatives. So he spent his whole wedding, going around saying hello to people he'd never met before. And to me,
why would you even want that?
That's what I'm saying. So some people, that's their dream. I can't say for me that it is, because I wouldn't want to. I think I'd spend the money on something else.
No, I wouldn't. I actually agree. Chloe's going to tell us that she's been planning her wedding for years.
Yeah, it is. It's true. Okay.
She's got a wedding planner on the floor right next to her.
Okay. I sit here and I lie and
Who's going to
complain
design
about
your gown, Chloe?
No, it's not that. I don't care about a big gown. I don't care about many guests, but I just want to recreate the Mamma Mia wedding. I want it so bad. I want to.
But you could
still cry. You sound like you're crying about it.
No.
It's bad.
I love ABBA. I love Mamma Mia, and I want to get married in Greece. Yeah, but like, even though Sophie doesn't actually get married at the end. She's the altar, and she's like, actually, let's travel the world instead, and that's probably something I would do. But after I get to Greece, but I need to get to Greece first. And then
wafer.
Oh God.
Okay.
Amazing.
I just have to play that song.
I love it. It's my favorite.
I like this comment. You guys should do a podcast.
That's my best.
We're trying
Literally, I told you the girl I spoke today about the wedding situation. That was her. She knows what we're on about.
Oh, okay. Well, we're trying to do a podcast. Obviously, we have no actual formal structure here.
What are you talking about? This is a podcast.
Yeah. And Evelyn, since we're on the topic of embarrassing Chloe, can you tell people what that mark behind you on the wall is?
No.
So if you can see to the left of Evelyn's face, there's a mark on the wall. And bear in mind, when I saw it, I thought she was sitting on a chair. I thought she was at a desk sitting on a chair. Now listen to her explanation. Come on, Galway girl.
Oh God, you're outing me. Okay, ready. So basically, while we were filming a video for Miss Universe Ireland, I ended up kicking the wall with my heels, and
oh no.
And he thought I was sitting on a chair, and he was like, "How did you kick up that high?"
I thought she was doing the can for her unfiltered video. I'm like, it's at your head level. What were you doing in your heels?
No, I'm just really good at dancing. So no, I'm not. I'm joking. But no, seriously, it was the back of the heel. I think that's what it was. Anyways, let's hope that's what it was because it sounds like a good story, doesn't it?
I was gonna laugh at you, but then I remember that I actually kicked
Did the
the
same?
wall. In my room, I was pretending I was in some sort of martial arts movie. I was practicing my kick.
Were you
and I
wearing
kicked
heels
the
as well?
wall. I was, matter of fact. I like to do that on my days off. And the wall is like a gyp rock wall. It's not a concrete wall. So I kicked it, and then there's a dent in it now.
Well, nah.
I didn't mean to.
I think I prefer mine. I should probably just create a little X. Just do another line in it, just to be like, oh yeah, that's my X marks the spot.
Okay, well, do you want to do it now? I'll let you get your heels on, and then you can proceed to kick the wall.
I have a pen. I could probably do. Wait for it now. My boyfriend's watching me, and he's like, "What are you doing to our wall?"
Welcome to our podcast, where we occasionally
There you
talk about
go.
pageantry.
Just sometimes.
Sometimes, very rarely though. I mean, we were talking about Universe and how Chloe hung up on me. Still traumatized by that. Chloe, what? Don't go like this. It's not a lie. You did hang up on me.
I didn't remember it. You had to tell me the next day, so I
don't blame her. Stress. That was a really stressful time. It was a good stress though, as I said, but it was a stressful time.
I don't understand how I
It
ended up
was not a
staying
good
up that
stress for
long.
me.
Anyway.
Were you really
I was
stressed
having
for
to
us?
take my car in to be serviced, and at the same time, I'm trying to help Chloe through this trauma of
Mental
staying up for
breakdown.
24 hours. And then she hung up on me. And to be clear, I wasn't upset. I thought it was hilarious. But I think she hung up on me. That's really funny.
He definitely started crying, Chloe, at the other side of the phone. The minute you hung up, he probably just started weeping.
I probably
I
did.
did.
Yeah.
I did. There weren't enough tissues in the world for my sorrow.
Don't worry, I've come prepared.
That's
Is
Evelyn's
this Piers
2020.
Morgan's
Chloe, why
life
don't you?
stories?
What?
Piers Morgan's life stories. You ever watch that TV show? No. So it's like Piers Morgan. He brings on a guest, and they'll like cry about their whole life. Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually kind of good.
Yeah, I
Not gonna
like it. Yeah, there's
Is
some
that
good
like
episodes there.
that show This Is Your Life, where they bring on a guest and then they randomly
Yeah,
bring
like a
up
celebrity.
out people from their their
Past.
past? Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Every
That- that-
mistake and every sad part, and they always start
Well,
weeping.
good stuff too. Not just sad stuff. Good stuff too. I can't imagine Piers Morgan being that good at that kind of stuff. Is he? He's
No,
always a
it's
bit on
actually-
the nose.
He's actually alright. He's actually not bad. To be honest,
I
I'm
actually
not
met
so much
him.
of a... Did you?
At Miss World last year, I got a picture with him, me and Eden.
Girl, who
Yeah.
didn't you meet? Who didn't you meet is the question. I swear. She always meets somebody famous all the time.
Oh my goodness.
I swear.
Yeah, I know. She's a celebrity magnet. But
Celebrity.
Chloe, why don't
Well,
you
you missed
why don't you
Danielle.
tell us about I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. What Chloe, tell us about your 2020.
Oh.
That was him trying to...
Although I was just saying I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, then I just feel like I'm in a box and I'm
Oh.
trying to pretend that I'm trying to get out of my box.
I thought you
Evelyn,
meant like...
don't-
I thought you meant 2020 was a box. It kind of makes sense, no? You're trapped in
Well,
your house.
yeah,
And, you know.
I'm deep on many, many levels. But
Yeah, well, I actually started off 2020 really hopeful. I started it off in the US. I started off by going ski trips, and I was traveling and I was having fun. And I was supposed to go to Coachella with Eden in April for Eden's 21st birthday. And I was supposed to go to Dubai in June with my friend Shauna. A lot of that ended up getting cancelled, and I was supposed to graduate in July. So yeah, there were so many things that I wanted to happen that didn't quite happen. 2020 just left me a bit unproductive at the start, and at the end trying to catch up with everything. But in the end, it managed to turn itself over a lot, and a lot of really nice things happened towards the end. One being Miss Universe Ireland, and like finding myself a little more. I felt like it was a year of self-discovery. Looking back at Chloe at the start of 2020, I don't even know if I knew who she was, because it took a lot of reflection. It took a lot of sitting back and realization, and I feel like we just genuinely needed this year more than anything to make us realize what we want for our futures and what we want to do and how we want to take the next step forward. And I felt like it took months for me to get motivation to be productive with life in general. I felt like the first 6 months, probably more, the first 7-8 months of 2020 for me, in my eyes, felt like a complete blur. It's actually quite terrifying when I think about it, because one day you're in March and you first go into lockdown, and then you're in September and you have nothing
and
to
it goes
show
like
for it.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people saying when we first went into lockdown, if you can remember back to March, because for some of us it's going to be difficult, and we were spending all our time indoors. Some of us, like I remember when I got back from the UK, because Evelyn, I was in the UK in March for a pageant. When I got back, we were in complete lockdown. That's when everyone was panicking about Corona. I didn't use my car for a month. I mean, it was crazy. I basically didn't leave the house for a month.
That's crazy.
What we're saying was that it seemed like, that period between Christmas and New Year's, which is a period that we've just had, where you don't really know what you're supposed to do. You don't know what day it is.
And nothing's happening, and
You're drunk or you're both. Yeah, they said that every day was kind of like that. So
it's actually so true.
I think for
I
March,
was so unproductive for months.
Same, me
I don't think anyone really was productive. I mean, the people who were saying that they were productive during that time actually kind of scared me. Well, this is what I mean. Because like, if the fact that we're in a worldwide pandemic hasn't thrown you a little bit, either you're some sort of sociopath or you're just having me on a little bit. It must have thrown you off a little bit. Like, you can't. I mean, it was a zombie apocalypse.
Genuinely,
that's like saying there's a zombie apocalypse and I'm still going to be productive. I mean, really?
I'll just dodge the zombies.
Yeah.
That's basically what they're saying.
I think it was about October before I started actually feeling productive. And then I worked myself to the bone where I was so mentally and physically exhausted. I went from being completely unproductive to trying to cram so much in at once, because I felt like I was so unproductive with my year. And Adrian knows, because I went from being this like easygoing, relaxed, chilled out person for months, and then come October, November, December, I was just like, oh my goodness, what have I done with my year? And
yeah, you turned into literally Bridezilla.
Yeah. At least we know what she'll be like for her wedding, though, so we'll be prepared. Like, that was like a run through of what her wedding will be like.
Rehearsal.
Oh dear.
Well,
I'm glad I'm in Australia then.
No, but it's true. Like, for me, at the start of the lockdowns, I was so productive. Genuinely, I was like exercising all the time. I was trying to get loads of like personal stuff done. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. That lasted like 2 weeks. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because everyone was excited to have so much time for themselves.
Yeah.
And then they had that time, and then they got really sick of that time, and then they wanted to everything to go back to normal. But here's a question for you guys. I mean, as I said, Danielle is not. I should put Danielle.
Oh, she's here.
Danielle, you're looking so fab tonight.
Just in case you haven't seen it, this is how thick these things are.
So I literally seen it.
And there are two. This is like a
they're literally.
Book. But here's a fun question for you. Zombie apocalypse. Okay. Pretend that Danielle is here. Which of the four of us will be the first to die in a zombie apocalypse?
Me.
I was going to say you two, and I was like, can I out her?
Okay, hang on. So, Chloe, why do you think you'd be the first one to be offed in a zombie apocalypse?
I just know. That's just my luck. I know it for a fact.
I just think that you'll be like having way too much fun that you'll kind of forget what's happening.
Yeah, I'm the one who's having the banter, and I'll go out and I'll start mocking the zombies. Like, have you ever seen Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah. Literally, you'll be like way up, like dancing next to them, like, oh wait, what's going on? And think that everybody's doing the Thriller.
Yeah, and I start dancing with them. Yeah, I would start messing about and winding them up and poking at them, and like, no, they wouldn't be happy at me. No.
Why would you be poking at them?
How do you wind up a zombie? It's brain dead.
I would. You're like,
I was going to say, I think I would agree with you, but I think it's because you love to see the positive side in everyone and you love to bring everyone together. I think
I'm like,
you'd be
"Oh,
trying to see the positive side in zombies and say, "Oh no, they're fine. They're people too." And then you try to get them in a group and talk to them all and get them to love each other and see the best in each other,
I
and then they
would
just
do
eat
that.
you.
Yeah, I could see that
That's so
100%.
true.
Rest in peace,
Then-
Chloe.
Then who would be next out? Who would next be the
Oh.
fallout?
I'm going to
You
put
see, I
myself
don't-
as I would be the last person to be killed, I think.
No, that's wishful
No,
thinking on
I-
your part.
I don't know. I
Between
think
you
I
and
think it'll be
Danielle.
Danielle.
All right, so
I
Chloe's
think
dead.
Danielle will be last because she can dodgeball. She'll be throwing dodgeballs at the zombies, knocking their
Yeah.
heads clean off their shoulders.
I'll
And
probably be with Chloe at the start. We'll probably both go at the same time. I feel it's just my inkling.
Evelyn will try and save me, and yeah, she'll lose her own life. in
I'll
the
be like,
process.
"Don't worry, I'll protect you." Then I'll just go first. The
And then
zombie
we
life
can-
doesn't. The
Like,
zombie
I
life
can
doesn't look that
be
bad.
Evelyn has a useful survival skill. She has
But
her
she
heels
does.
and she can kick
She
to the
does.
head level. So all she has to
Girl.
do is kick the zombies with her stilettos, because
Swear.
that will get. Yeah.
If I could even walk in stilettos, yeah, definitely. That would work. You never know.
I don't know.
I think it would be a different story if it was aliens, though. I think they would like me.
Oh, Danielle said, "Miss you guys."
Okay, so Danielle has agreed that Chloe would be the first one to die. Danielle also likes the way that Evelyn says thriller. Elizabeth, hello, Elizabeth, and Danielle. Adrian will just surrender.
That is
Well,
so
I'm
true.
surrender
With
to
his-
zombies.
with your little flag.
I
you'd be like,
could
"Okay, begin."
imagine.
Do you know what I would do, since I'm making fun of Chloe for bringing everyone together, because that's something I like to do too? I'd probably interview zombies. That's probably what I'd do. I'd start a podcast
Yeah.
about
Like-
zombies and try to interview
you're
them.
So, what were you
Yep.
thinking when you decided to become a zombie? Blah, 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 blah.
It won't be the pageant project anymore. It'll be the zombie project, and I can start up a pageant for zombies. They can walk and then do their pose, and a zombie in heels. You will get fed up, Adrian. That's potentially true. Although if they eat people that I don't like, I mean that could be exciting. If
Well,
you
like, you
can't
could-
beat them, join them.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
know.
it. Do you know what? We should just all become zombies. Then you don't get hurt anymore, and you're all G.
And you get
Just
to
be
eat
one
Well,
of
I
them.
was gonna say,
And you get
if
to
you're a
eat lots
zombie,
of
you
people.
probably can't catch corona.
Why we eat lots of people? What?
Did you say you get to eat lots of people? You get to meet lots of people.
She said meat, I swear.
I swear we're not cannibals.
Speak for yourself. I was telling Chloe this story, and it came up again the other day. You know that you can now take cells. You know how you can take cells and clone things.
Yeah.
I'll tell
Oh, I
Evelyn
hate
this
this story. I hate this
You
story.
can. Chloe is covering her ears whilst wearing earpods. Can I just
I
bring
know.
that up? I don't want to hear you. I'm getting anyway.
Stop it.
So they've now started. You can make your own meat, right? So take a few of your cells, and then in a little petri dish,
Oh,
you grow your meat.
And you eat
Human
you.
steaks.
Did you just say a
Human
petri dish?
steaks. Like in a lab. They
No,
can literally
wait,
grow.
Evelyn.
Wait, we gotta
Evelyn.
reverse this. Wait, we gotta reverse this. He just said petri dish. How do you
Yeah.
pronounce it? Say it again.
Petri dish or petri dish. Well, I'd say petri dish.
I was like, what's a petri dish when it's out? Anyways,
Well,
carry on.
Human steaks. That and not a because they
Not
were saying
just
it's
any
technically
human,
not
new steak.
cannibalism. Yeah, and they were putting this forward as a way to end world hunger, and I was like, surely there are easier ways to end world hunger than
They're like,
growing
it's not
steak of
cannibalism.
yourself.
You eat
Horrible.
yourself. I'm like, no.
And you'd have to cook it.
I'm not.
That's the
Well,
thing, that you'd have
I
to
don't
cook it. You
know.
can't eat yourself raw.
all I'm saying is, if you're eating yourself, is it really cannibalism?
That's what they said.
Oh.
That's what they were saying. They're saying technically it's not cannibalism because you're eating yourself. I'm like, that's not
Well,
making me
okay,
feel
it
any
is
better.
cannibalism, but literally, if it was, imagine putting it into a situation when you've like no more food and there's loads of people starving. Well, it's gross, but if it keeps them alive, think about that one.
Why wouldn't you just eat the plants or eat insects?
What
Why
if
would you
it was
eat
a really,
yourself?
really? What if it was a really, really like
Yeah, but why would
Tasty?
people design
hot
that in the
punch?
first place? Why would people design that in the first place? Like, why?
It was somebody who was into that kind of thing. Was like, you know what? You know.
I think it started as a kind of a science thing, like a challenge, because sometimes scientists, because they get these ideas and they want to see if it's possible. So I'm not sure they thought
So
what it's
weird.
sort of, but there will be people who want to try it. Let's just put it out there. There are people out there who are wacky enough that the idea of eating themselves. Can you imagine you go to a really fancy restaurant and you're on the menu? So you book a table 12 months in advance, you give them a few of your cells, and then your dinner is yourself in 7 dishes.
And then is dinner free?
Well, it's
No, because
free,
we still have to
like
cook it.
it's you.
But
It's
all
me.
this- all-
I provided the materials.
Then you get a discount. We could be on to something, guys. Let's all go for dinner.
How did we get onto this? I think we were talking about Corona and then zombies and
Yeah.
then eating ourselves. Elizabeth has said there are definitely easier ways. I agree.
He's
I
actually
agree.
dead
Yeah, but
right.
why don't they use that cloning to make like cows meat so people don't have to kill cows? Like, why would they think of making human meat from it? It's
Yeah,
just
I
a
don't
weird
know.
concept. Like, if
It's
you
so
could come up with
strange.
that idea, you would think of a way not to kill animals, not to like clone ourselves.
Clone
Like,
people.
that's just so weird.
That's
like-
so true.
Like,
But maybe
yeah.
maybe the reason that they're trying to think of it is because of the fact of like overproduction of them trying to kill the cows. We'll put it into cows, trying to kill them and everything like that. It's like so bad for the environment if you think about it. Is there that much with people is what they're thinking? But yeah, okay, it's totally messed up and so wrong. But that's probably the way they're thinking of it. It's better for the environment to do it this way than to do it a million more cows.
Yeah.
Which I understand, but yeah, then clone cows or pork, not human flesh. But,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's just a bit bizarre. Like,
I don't know.
completely.
That's a weird topic of conversation that I brought up. Anyway, moving on. Smoothly segueing onto the next topic. So that was 2020. 2020, I think, for all of us has been manic. I will certainly echo what Chloe said. Like around March time, it just all became a bit of a blur. And then definitely towards the end of the year, everything picked up. I mean, I interviewed Angel Strong, who is Miss Earth Nebraska over in the US the other day. And these books, which are 800 pages each, so 1,600 pages, and I brought the whole thing together in 2 weeks. That was absolutely manic. So whilst you two were going through Universe, I was doing that. I was up till 3 a.m. one day. I couldn't see straight. I'd spent
Did
so
you hang
much
up on
time
Chloe?
on the computer. No, I wouldn't do that because I'm a good friend. I don't hang up on people even when I'm tired. Hey, Chloe.
I don't remember doing it.
She was delusional.
It was 5 a.m.
I actually get your pain, to be honest. I didn't know what I was saying anymore for my videos. I was like, nah, I was broken.
And then, honestly, I couldn't string a sentence by the end of it. And I'm just like, why?
That was mine as well.
And that's
I
the
was
thing,
trying
if you
so
do use
hard.
one of your earlier on, if you do use one of your early on videos, people probably wouldn't even be able to tell the difference. And then you end up spending hours and hours and hours for it probably ends up looking worse than it did when you filmed it 3 hours ago.
Because you just
Honestly.
get tired and it's so repetitive that you lose your natural
You're
energy. You're
always
like,
picking
hi,
out
my name is
every
Evelyn.
flaw. That's
Yeah.
the worst thing about the online pageant, the fact that we can film things over and over again.
Yeah.
I would rather just be
Yeah.
there, do it, so then I'm not
Same.
tormenting myself with filming it again, not being happy with it. Oh, it does.
Definitely. 100% for sure.
So you guys had pretty much the same experience with
We actually kind
perfectionism
of-
and being
we actually
overly
kind of did.
critical
Yeah,
of
we
yourselves.
And Nadia was so
Evelyn?
amazing. And Nadia was like, Nadia said to me, she's like, I went out, and it was like when she was doing her bikini, and she's like, I filmed 2 shots, and she's like, I picked one between the 2, and that was it. And I was just
I
like, I
couldn't
wish
believe
I could
that.
be like that, but I'm always like trying to pick
I
amazing. I wish I could
literally
be
You
like that.
can be like that. It's not something you can't do. It's not like something like rocket science and you need to study to be able to do it. You can do it. You just need to start. It's not a question of knowledge. It's just a question of will. You need to be less critical of yourselves.
But
Yeah.
that's easier
I'd be
said than
willing to
done,
bet your
though.
first takes. I'd be willing to
Yeah,
bet because I say
100%.
this to someone who's shot how many hours of video,
Yeah.
and there's a reason I do it live now. It's because I can't then take it edit it and try and make it perfect. Live, it's ugly, but it's also real and it's funny, and people actually appreciate it because it's very obviously real. Like, this is obviously unscripted, talking about human stakes and zombies.
Let me just get my book out. Do I say something next? I'm joking.
Yes, you got your talking points there, right? So people can believe we're unscripted.
Cannibalism.
What's next on the list? But seriously, like I've the number of people who have interviews with me and they go, "Is there a list of questions?" I've never had a list of questions ever.
I think it's better.
I do my research.
I do,
because you have a conversation. I mean, if you have a conversation with a person, you don't sit down, have a list of talking points, and then go through it. You just let the conversation evolve. But I'd be willing to bet that for your unfiltered series, your videos, your first takes probably were the best. That's just in my experience.
I actually think so. I'm actually not even going to lie. Like, but because we are our biggest critics, that we literally go over and over and over.
Stop being your biggest critic 100%. Then.
It's true, literally.
This is what I try banging into Chloe's head a billion times, and I say it with full knowledge that it's a bit hypocritical me saying it because I get it, but it's literally something that we can stop doing. It's not something we have to do. So, I guess that's a huge
controlling that state, Adrian.
It's true.
Well, it's true, right? I mean, if there's one lesson, like honestly, if I ask you guys, what's the biggest lesson that you've taken from 2020? I mean, for me, it would be that you have to let go. You have to. 100%. I don't know if you say love yourself. For some people, that's a bit too far, including myself. That sounds a bit. But you have to at least be your biggest supporter. Absolutely. For me, it's a step maybe a bit too far. I feel a bit weird saying that.
It just means whatever way you interpret loving yourself. Like loving yourself unconditionally in the sense, I do and I don't. I feel as in like it's so natural. You should love yourself first before you go trying to not get somebody to love you, but to find love elsewhere. Otherwise, you're going to keep craving this
100%.
Other love from somebody else because you don't have it yourself.
Yeah, because you don't feel like you're enough for yourself, and then you try to get someone else to make you feel like you're enough, and then they probably have the same issue, and then you're both trying to fill each other up, and
and then it just doesn't work, and it crumbles, and that was very dramatic. Sorry.
Chloe, what happened with Chloe? Are you freezing? Chloe, are you still there?
I think did yours freeze, or is that just my internet?
No, that's just your internet. I'm all good. Evelyn's all good. We're having a nice chat here.
Have you guys frozen? No. Is it just me that's frozen?
No. It's just you, and you've frozen with your finger up, so thank God it's not your root finger, otherwise it would be a screen grab.
You know, what can I say? That Donegal internet.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. Dropped out. What? God. Oh, Chloe. All right. So in terms of biggest lessons from 2020, I think learning to criticize yourself a bit less and actually talking to yourself like you would a friend rather than beating yourself up all the time. I think that was a huge lesson. What about for you guys? I'll go to Evelyn first because I'll hope that Chloe's internet behaves itself in a bit. But Evelyn, what do you feel your biggest lessons from 2020?
One of my first ones is definitely to be real with what goals I tried to make. I literally always say, oh my God, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And it just doesn't happen because it's so unrealistic. Not like outside of COVID and everything. I do that naturally anyways. I'm like, I'll do this and I'll do this. And I actually just don't do any of it because it's so unrealistic. So making goals that are closer in line to me as stepping stones rather than going to the end point initially, if that makes sense. And stop being so critical, and I wouldn't say hate because that's a very strong word, but so critical on myself and picking and being so intense on myself, and just literally take a step back from that, because I think it's a hard one to do, and it's a hard one to even realize you're doing, because we do it almost automatic. Like you almost think like, no, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. You know what I mean? So I think it's a lot of people would be on the same boat of being very self-critical, but it's something that I definitely need to work on for myself. And I still need to work on it because I have not crossed over that yet.
I think it's ongoing. I think especially for women. I was telling my best friend this just the other day. A lot of businesses only exist because they advertise to make girls feel like they're not enough. You're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not loved enough. So all these businesses that make you feel like you're not enough, and then they sell you something. If you just think about if you believe that you were enough, how
You
many
wouldn't
things
want
would
it.
you not buy, or how many businesses would be out of business like
That's so
overnight?
true.
Because if they won't sell you anything if you feel like you're enough. So they deliver the advertising is all about making you guys feel basically bad about yourself, right? Putting up this perfect Photoshop person who doesn't even look like that herself.
No.
And you go, oh my God, I need to look like that, so I better buy this product. I better buy this protein powder. I better buy this workout program.
I tell you, I literally went on my phone the other day and I found this it was like an exercise equipment for like hip thrusting, so basically for your bum. And I was like, and your one was exercising, and I was like, oh, this is amazing, I really want it. And just today I was telling my best friend about it. Hip thrusting.
What you lie on the floor and go
the
up,
thing
you're
you sent
standing
me.
up and you go forwards, or you
It's for your glutes.
I know, but thrusting. So which way are you thrusting? It just
Upwards. So like you'd lie down on the floor, you'd thrust your hips upwards. And it was like a machine that basically was the equivalent of it was like the equivalent of giving you weight. So there was like a strap that would go over your waist, and the more straps you put
okay.
on, the heavier it got, basically. The more resistance it added.
Trust.
And I swear to God, the girl's butt was like, I was like, whoa, I really need this. And I literally was telling my friend about it, and it's like 160 euro. And she was like, do you need to spend 160 euro when you can literally just use a bar weight? And I was like, but you don't understand. This literally, I could just walk into my gym and just use this. And she was like, but you could literally do the same with the bar weight. I was like, but look at her butt. And she was like, Evelyn, they're trying to target people like you. I was like, you're right.
Yeah, they are. They're targeting people who go, oh my God, her butt is like that because of this hip thrusting machine. It's like, no. Either that's genetic or that girl has probably both has spent a lot of time in the gym. Because you know those ab rollers, you remember those things? And and you'll see this guy and this girl with an incredibly, not just six-pack. The six-pack has six-pack and pecs and shoulders, and I'm like, well, no, you don't ever get that from rolling in that thing. Or my favorite one was that one that you literally, I don't know if you guys saw it, it's like an electric machine and it literally shocks you, and that's supposed to work out your muscles and you get like a six-pack, and that's like, no, I think you should get those things and attach them to your head and shock you. I'm not stupid crap ever again.
Back to reality. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, that's
Chloe, are you?
Is my
Chloe, are
internet
you there?
still working?
Yeah, we can hear you, but you're like you're kind of
Yeah,
like
is it working?
Now we can hear you.
At least we can hear you.
Oh yeah, at
And the
least that's
finger.
something.
And the
Yeah.
finger.
E.T. phone.
E.T. phone home. But Chloe,
I cried at E.T.
what's been your biggest lesson from 2020 apart from your internet sucks?
Well, mine is 100% the same as yours. Adrian, when you said to me about not being so self-critical, it's so true. You would never speak to a friend the way you speak to yourself in a million years. Honestly, the way I speak to myself sometimes, it's cruel. Always picking out every single flaw.
Oh my God, Chloe. Oh, there she is.
It's good to be back, isn't it? Chloe, hi. What were you saying? You were saying about picking on yourself. Are you there? Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm in. Yeah.
Oh. No.
What?
I think there's like
Chloe, you may need to fix up your internet. I think you either can you hear us?
there is a
Chloe?
delay, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a delay. Like your sound is coming in slower and you're very glitchy.
Yeah, but I feel like there's a delay between us.
There is. Well, are you Wi-Fi or are you plugged into your cable, like the one for work?
No, I have my Ethernet cable in my top, so I don't know why it's doing this. No,
Oh,
pretty
I don't
weird.
know. Why is your internet so?
Because
I
she
mean,
lives
like
in the middle of
literally,
nowhere.
but is your internet
I live
like
on an
coming
island
through?
in Ireland.
Literally.
When you say that, you just reminded me of that. What is it? That song about being on a boat, except it's like I'm on an island rather than I'm on a boat. Okay, so I got distracted by that. So, Chloe, you were saying what your biggest lesson was. You want to give it another go because you literally dropped out halfway through.
Yeah, so it's basically just expanding on what you were saying about being critical towards yourself. Also, it's just to like enjoy every moment and don't let myself do anything that makes me feel unhappy. Um, I don't want to get comfortable in job situations, like time in my life where I know that I could be having more fun or achieving my dreams elsewhere. I'm just gonna continue on with life as if you only have one, which is true. I'm not gonna waste any time. Whenever you're locked in for so long, you feel like you can't do anything, go anywhere. Although you do expand on yourself a lot, you still feel so restricted. So I'm just gonna grab every opportunity in life that I get to be happy and just be happy. Instead of having doubts and instead of thinking, right, I'm comfortable here, I'm safe here. Oh, I'm in
Yeah.
this job at the moment and it's paying my bills and I'm comfortable and I'm not going to move from there. Like 20 years down the line, I don't want to be stuck in the same
Yeah.
place. So I want to make sure that I do take risks when I need to and don't be too comfortable because that's what we are now. We're all sitting here comfortable in a lockdown, but we don't want to be in the same place for the rest of our lives. And that's one thing. Being confined in one space made me feel like that I don't want to be confined in this one space for the rest of my life. No way.
That's actually such a good way of looking at it because that's so true. Like we are literally like we're staying safe. We are literally staying comfortable. Okay, yeah, we should always stay safe in the circumstances, but in terms of like the future, we always tend to stay where it's comfortable just
Yeah.
because it's easy. We'd never think to go beyond and push ourselves to something that's uncomfortable and something that makes us not feel 100% at ease because it's harder. It's not the same. It's not the same routine. Doing different routine, it is a little daunting, but these things always turn out the best. And oh, Chloe's gone. And they are such an adventure. I just like, anyways. No, but I'm
She's
the
had enough
same.
of you, Evelyn.
Yeah,
Obviously, she
she's
didn't
like,
like what you were
she's
saying,
like,
and she hung up on you this time.
she's like, Evelyn, I'm sick of your talk.
Now you know what it feels like to be hung up on. Hopefully, she'll come back. But I mean, just to clarify, because like entering Miss Universe Ireland, I know for Chloe that was definitely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
She got the finalist announcement and made her panic a bit. I mean, for yourself, Evelyn, was it a similar thing? Like entering
Do you
was an
know?
uncomfortable pushing myself kind of thing?
Yeah, like what's really funny, one thing that like me and Chloe only realized this coming to the end of the competition or of the pageant is that we both suffer so bad with like stage fright. Like it's so
Oh, you
weird
suffer
because
it too.
yeah, and she was like I'd never realized. I was like that's because I almost play it off. Somehow I play it off that I'm
Mm.
not, but inside I am. And it almost makes me forget my words, if that makes sense. So when I'm talking, it's like I'm gone on autopilot. There's not really I
You're
like
having like an
do you
out of
ever
body experience.
kind of do you ever as a kid, do you ever like go on stage for like a show for like a Christmas show or anything like that? And when you stand on the front, you have to sing or you have to say something by yourself where everybody will hear you. And you almost have like this out of body experience when you go on autopilot. You haven't a clue what you're saying, but you're saying what you're meant to say, and it's just happening. And then afterwards, you don't even remember what you said. Does that literally happens to me like all the time?
When I was a little tyke in school, I think I was 10 years old, we had to be in a play. Had to, like you didn't get a choice. And I hated being on stage. So when it came to selecting my role, I read the script. I literally picked, I still remember it was the Knave of Hearts, because it was like about, I think it was an Alice in Wonderland thing or something like that. And I had stolen the tarts. I had stolen the tarts. And then the rest of the play was about me sort of being on trial for having stolen the Queen's tarts or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I literally picked that role because I only had to say one line. That's the only reason I picked that role. So I need to say one line, and then I had to stand at the front of the stage for the rest of the time, but I didn't have to say anything.
That is so brilliant.
Yeah, I do understand what you're talking about.
But it is, and we both get the same like symptoms of like the stage fright. For me, I'm actually through this year out of Miss Universe Ireland, I've overcome it. I think Chloe just commented there for that she can't come on because she can't see her camera. But for me, doing this year of Miss Universe Ireland, it was all on a laptop, but I still had the same like symptoms of like my heart would be beating really fast just before I'm about to come on camera. I would get like a tingling sensation in my legs where I would get like really nervous. But as the whole pageant went on, it literally just like faded out. Like even coming up today, I felt so fine. I was like, is it gone? But I won't know 100% unless I'm on a stage if it's gone.
I guess being on stage itself will be slightly different, but I think all this stuff is good practice for it as well, especially the videos. Because I can't tell you how many people, I think most people actually, when they shoot a video for the first time and they look at it back, their first thing is, oh my God, do I actually look like that? And then the second comment I normally get is, oh my God, I hate my voice. Those are normally the first two. I say this because when I was coaching tennis, I would video the people doing a shot so they could see it back. Yeah. And the first comment would never be, how do I hit my forehand or how do I hit myself? Be like, oh my God, do I actually look like that? And then the second one is, oh my God, I hate my voice.
I hate my voice. I cannot tell you. If I had to be you two, I feel sorry for you two. If I had to be you two listening to me right now, I'd be like, will she just stop talking?
No, I hate my voice. I hate mine. I hate it so much.
But yours is so like subtle and calm. Mine is like,
no. You sound more Irish than I do.
That's the worst part about it, I swear.
I sound like a fraud. People be like, where are you from, Scotland? I'm like, Irish.
A fraud of what?
Not that I have an issue with Scotland. I love Scotland, but the amount of people that ask me if I'm Scottish on a daily basis is.
But I think that's another one of us being self-critical.
It is.
Yeah, all the time.
I used to get confused between Irish and Scottish because the Irish say we a lot. I always thought Scottish. I thought we, like saying, my wee dad or this, we this, we that. I thought that was a Scottish thing, but you Irish say it as much as a Scottish do.
Sorry.
Are you?
Everything's we.
There was a
what
little
did you
hair.
Have before you came on the video, Evelyn, and you like. Can I just point, Evelyn? Can I point out that the way you what your voice was is like this? This apparently is Evelyn's voice. Scary zombie lunging at you. Let me ask you this, okay? Just because to show you how ridiculous it is, you guys both say you hate your voices.
Yeah.
What do you want your voice to actually be like then?
I'd prefer mine to be a bit lower.
I want
like this.
You think that sounds better?
No. Well,
so you want to sound like me? You want to. Hi, I'm Evelyn.
Wow,
nice to meet you.
Your voice is fab.
It's.
No, but like, I think I've a really like high pitched voice. Like crikey.
I do not sound like that, Chloe. Give me a break.
Crikey.
Oh, crikey, mate. There's a shark in the
Crikey.
water. I'm just going to rescue
There's
these
a
surfers
shark
from
in
the
the
shark in the
water.
water.
Crikey.
Throw a shrimp on the barbie. How you doing, mate? Oh,
Yeah.
God.
That's you.
So stereotypical.
Wait, you never let me tell you what was floating. It was a little hair. I wasn't going crazy. There was a small little cat hair, I think, just like floating, and it kept coming back and forth. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. I was like, it was like, and then I realized I was on camera and went, oh God.
Evelyn, what are you burning in that incense holder of yours? Is it just the good
not-
stuff?
I actually do have. Oh, here it is. I do have. I'm going to tell you this because I think this is actually super important. So this is sage. Do you ever burn? Sorry, this is not sage. This is Palo Santo.
My ex used to
Yeah?
burn this stuff, and she told me all about it. And she'd be going around. I think it was with sage. That clears a negative energy, doesn't it? I don't know what Palo Santo does.
Yeah, it does. It's the same concept, but I had put this on my story today of me burning it, and a girl, she's in college, and she learned that basically the Palo Santo tree is basically kind of going extinct. So they're cutting it down way too much, and they're killing them. Like they're literally killing them. I was like, I'm never buying any more after this one. I swear. I'll stick to the sage, I think.
That happens quite often, unfortunately, because we in the Western world get on a trend. Back in the day when, I don't know if you guys know quinoa. Quinoa is a grain, and it's supposedly a superfood. And it became such a hip thing in the Western world that the price of quinoa, where it's grown, I think it's somewhere in South America, it became so expensive that the farmers who were growing it themselves couldn't afford to eat it. That's how ridiculous it was. So then they had to bring in this whole fair trade thing for quinoa, so that to make sure that the people who were growing it actually got a fair percentage of the money. That's so you got to be really careful of these things because quinoa is healthy, or burning this helps clear the
Same with
energy, and then it becomes
avocados.
trendy.
Same with
Avocados, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And soybeans as well.
Chloe, can you still hear us?
Yeah.
She's just chilling.
Okay. No, I wasn't sure how bad the delay is because it's hard on a delay. Okay, so God, we talked about a lot of different things. What are your guys' plans for 2021? Let me go to Chloe first, just to see how her internet's going. Chloe, what are your plans for 2021?
Sorry. I don't even know. I have no idea what this year is going to hold. Honestly, I'm just going to play it in survival mode right now because honestly, I don't have a game plan. Don't know what's happening. It's hard to predict. It's so I would love to be able to travel again and do fun things again, but it's just not 100% certain what's going to happen. Hopefully, get my degree finished and look into getting new jobs. Just I would like a new start in general, but it's just unpredictable right now.
That's true.
Chloe, you've become a robot. Chloe, your voice is coming through very robotic. We'll have to sort your internet out.
Cutting off.
Yeah, you're dropping in and out. It's all over the place tonight.
Oh, I can hear me.
It feels like 2021. You can hear you.
Are you echoing?
I'm not getting an echo.
Me neither.
Anyway.
No.
Anyway.
I'm just going to talk with what Chloe said actually just there about the whole thing with 2021. 100%. I don't think anybody really knows what they can achieve with this year because it's like we're blindfolded. We don't know what's coming next. But one thing is 100%, and it's on my bucket list. It is travel with Chloe. I swear, she just disappeared before I got to hype it up. God damn it.
All right, she'll come back and then you can.
I'll repeat myself.
Do it again.
I started going, go on, girl, we're going to travel. Basically, that is the plan. That we're trying to travel together. We're trying to have it in, hopefully, the summer, but we don't really know, like, because of course nobody knows what's going on. Oh, wait for it. I get my little time to shine. Wait for it.
Hello?
Chloe, you missed what I just said.
Hi, guys. No.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Evelyn, I'll just let you tell Chloe that one in private. I don't even know if she can hear. She's frozen at it. Brilliant. Chloe, your internet, it was behaving itself.
Was it really bad when it freeze?
You were literally like this.
You were frozen in facepalm mode. You look like that monkey, you know, the monkey emoji that has its hands over its ears.
It's
That's exactly how you
still
froze.
image.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Evelyn was trying to hype you up and then you dropped out. So, Evelyn, do you want to hype Chloe up before she drops out again?
You know what I was saying? I was like, so yeah, for my 2021, yeah, okay,
We
like
have
none
to
of us know what's going on.
meet
Okay, that too, but I was like, we have to travel. I was like, we're talking about traveling together, so we are literally going to travel together. That's my bucket list for 2021.
Let's go to Australia and see Adrian.
That you better watch yourself. We're coming to get you.
So I think what's going to happen this year, with Corona
still
hanging around.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chloe, you are on a super delay now. So what we'll do? Let's try and wrap this up because it's becoming unmanageable because we're talking about something and then you're chiming in 10 seconds later. But what I'll say is, I think with 2021, what's going to happen, because obviously now we do have the vaccine and it's proven to be effective, very effective. You guys in the UK, well, I don't know in Ireland, but certainly in the UK, you guys were the first to roll it out. And some people have already had their vaccines. America's starting to get it. In Australia, we'll start getting it around about March. So what I would caution people against in general is planning things too soon. And this happened a lot in pageant land. People were saying, oh, you know, we'll postpone our pageant 2 months. It's like, no, that's a bad idea, because then you'll have to cancel it or postpone it again, which happened multiple times. I think realistically, if you want to plan anything for certain, it probably has to be towards the tail end of 2021. You got to give people time to roll out this vaccine, things to get under control, just so that you don't plan. Because Evelyn, you were talking about this, planning things and too soon and too much, and then they don't happen.
Yeah.
I think realistically, and this is what we've been told over here in Australia, 2021 for us anyway, international travel, that's probably, if everything goes according to plan, that's when it will be on the cards for us. And you guys over there, obviously in the UK, your cases have just skyrocketed recently. So in terms of having plans for 2021, the end is in sight now, which is good, because in 2020 we didn't have an end. We didn't have the vaccine. Exactly. Now that vaccine is there and it's proven to be effective, the end is in sight. But just don't think that it's going to be next week, because it won't be, because then you'll set yourself up for disappointment again, and you don't want to put yourself through that. So I think planning travel for your guys' summer in 2021 internationally, I'd give it honestly a 50-50 chance.
Halloween!
Domestically,
let's make Halloween then.
I love how Chloe, have you noticed everyone how Chloe just will randomly be sitting there and then she randomly just explodes into something? You're talking about something and she goes, Halloween!
You said it. You said like a trigger. You said a trigger word. She was like, Halloween. That was it. She's gone.
Halloween. But remember, you guys can travel domestically as well. And this is what we've been encouraged to do in Australia, because obviously Australian tourism has suffered hugely. Yeah. So maybe you start with little domestic trips, and then if it does get cancelled, it's not such a big deal. And then once the world comes back to normal, you'll know. We'll kind of know when the cases start coming down, everyone's getting vaccinated, and it looks like we're under control. Then we can all meet up. We can actually hug each other. I've literally been telling people I don't know what it's like to hug people anymore. Can you remember seriously the last time you hugged someone who wasn't like in your household or like direct family or a close friend?
Yeah, that's very true.
It would have been for me March, like 9 months ago.
Well, I'm thinking because I was working the whole time, so I was working with people the whole time through. Well, not the start, but so I have hugged people, but that's like work people, so it's not like you meet somebody on the street, you're like, oh my god, hi. You don't get that. You're like,
I haven't shaken anyone's hand. Forget a hug. I haven't shaken anyone's hand since March because people now they don't want to shake hands. So it's fist bump or elbow bump, or you just say I won't shake hands because, and everyone understands it. That's scary.
I had somebody to fist bump my shoulder. I was like, oh, okay.
Fist bump your shoulder. That means they punched you in the shoulder.
Yeah, literally. But they just went like, it's because I didn't put my hands up.
I like how positively. I love you Irish guys. You put a positive spin on everything. It's not he punched me in the shoulder. It's how he fist bumped me in the shoulder. It's like, just give me a loving fist bump on the shoulder. Yeah.
It was just like, hey, how are you doing? I was like, Corona. But to be fair, it was better than an elbow touch.
Yeah, that whole elbow touch thing, I never understood it.
It doesn't make sense. You're closer to the person with your breath, with your mouth.
That's why when I was in the UK for the pageant, and there were these people going around doing the fist bump, and the elbow bump, and I'm like, I'm not doing that.
A fist bump is way better because you're at arm length. Whoa, my arm looked so long.
Wow. Gotta be careful not to do this, actually. That's not a good thing to be doing on it. But no, I take your point. Also, fist bump looks better. I mean, people actually do fist bump, whereas who elbow bumps? I mean, really, it just
nobody.
Well,
I genuinely have not seen anyone do it this way. Everybody does it this way, no? I haven't seen nobody do this.
It shows you how much experience I have with elbow bumping people.
I also think that the airports are going to be really, really strict over the next while as well. Even when travel bans are lifted, I think that there'll be a lot of procedures, even getting on and off planes. Like, I think they'll be having COVID tests before you get on flights, after you get off them, temperature checks. So like, I heard there's disinfectant rooms coming to airports where they literally, you go through it and there's, I read about it a few weeks ago.
They could.
Not a bad idea.
Well, there's a fair chance because remember now that the vaccines are coming out, there's all the anti-vaxxers coming out of the woodwork as well. And there are airlines talking about if you don't have a vaccine, you won't be allowed to fly. And then even if that's not a thing, there are countries who may not let you in without a vaccine. And to be honest, that's fair enough. Coming from Australia, where we have such strict quarantine. I don't want people coming into this country without a vaccine. So if you don't want to have a vaccine, in my mind, that's your choice. But you stay at home. You don't come near me because I don't want it. I know that's an argument. I don't want to have that argument. That's just how I feel. But what I was going to say, if you guys want to both travel to Australia, I'd be planning probably this time next year. Like if you wanted a Christmas in 2021 or a summer in Australia.
Would be so cool.
I think by that time things should have settled down, and I think that has a realistic chance of happening. I don't think I'll be, for example, with Galaxy. So Danielle is Miss Galaxy UK. So her international is in Chicago in August. I got to say for myself, I don't think it's likely that I'll be able to travel by then.
Really?
I just don't. It's too soon. Well, we're only rolling out the vaccine in March. Yeah. And it goes to the frontline health workers and the elderly first, which is exactly what it should be like. And you have to have 2 jabs. Do I think from March to August is going to be enough time for the government to go, actually, you can't?
True.
I don't. But, in a year's time, so it'll be a lovely summer here in Australia.
That's actually class.
That's doable. Yeah. And you guys can work on your tans. Or you can just burst into flames, which is what you guys like to do.
Sizzle. We don't burst
into flames. That Irish skin in the sun.
Human steaks, you sizzle. I'll just put some olive oil and sprinkle some sea salt on you whilst you're on the beach, and it'll smell lovely.
You can be like Salt Bay. You can be like Salt Bay.
You're like...
Dear me. Okay.
I couldn't believe it. When we were in when me and Eden were in Mykonos, there was people like paying a fortune for that guy to sprinkle some salt on their steak and get it fed to them. That's one question I want to know. Would you guys be willing to pay like $1,000 to go out for a meal with your friends, to get fed
No.
steak by this guy who poured salt over it. There was genuinely people there in Mykonos. Oh yeah, we saved up our money and we knew he was going to be in town,
Why
so we
would you
spent all our spending
bother?
money and going to see it. Crazy
I'm just going to
money.
put my hand up and say I'm
And I
available for
think
that. So if anyone would like to pay me $1,000 to sprinkle salt on their steak and feed it to
and
you,
feed it to them.
I'm open. I'm open to offers. Okay, I'm just saying.
It baffles me. Like, even if you had the money, like, go somewhere that's
Why would you
decent priced
bother?
with better food, and you can just donate the rest of the money to charity, do something good. Like, why give it to him? I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't get
I
it
don't
either,
want to
to be
start
fair.
a whole tea and shade with Salt Bay. Imagine this whole podcast feud between me and Salt Bay. Can you imagine?
I don't understand, but I got to say that just sounds like 2020 in a nutshell to me. It's a lot of stuff I don't understand.
Yeah. I think this whole podcast sounds like 2020 in a
Yeah.
nutshell.
It's 2021, but 2020 is still hanging on. Not much has
It's
changed
trying.
because we
It's
could go to
trying.
next year.
It's got
We'll get rid of
like
it.
one
Yeah.
hand on your shoulder.
Yeah. Well, the end's in sight, as I said. That's what I really believe. And I'm not someone who would just say, oh, yeah, positive thinking, it's going to be over next week. I'm not that person. But I think, as I didn't think, for example, that the pageant, a lot of the pageants could go ahead, and it turned out that I was right. But I'm feeling good about sort of in a year's time, the end of this year, 2021. I think we will be a good way there. I don't think we'll be all the way there, because remember, you've got to literally vaccinate the whole world for it to be effective. But end of this year, if you're working towards a goal, I think it's realistic to say, be ready for the end of this year for things to have gone back more to normal and more stable. There might be periods of normalcy. Normalcy. Is it normalcy? Normalcy. I don't know what I'm saying. So what we'll do, just because Chloe's internet's glitching in and out, we'll hold it there because we've been on for over an hour. But Evelyn, thank you for coming on and being our guest.
Thank you.
And thank you to Chloe for her time as well.
Oh, thank you.
Just completely ignoring me. See, this is what it likes.
Or not.
I'm not giving you time because of your delay. Because if I keep speaking with a delay, you'll end up thanking me whilst I'm trying to wrap up, and then I'll stop, and then we'll start again, and we'll be here until 2022. So I just will say thanking Chloe for her time. And Danielle, if you're watching, hope you get better soon, and hopefully we can actually have the full crew on soon, because it's been over a month now, I think, since we've had everyone. So yeah, and thank you to you guys for watching, whether it's live or on the replay. And we will, how do I do this? Evelyn, I've forgotten something.
Anyways, thanks for having me, by the way.
All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Remember, Confessions is out. To get your copy from Amazon, head to shaw.b/confessionsbook, and I'll see you next time.